Yeah, so failures suck at the moment. It hurts. Nobody likes to look stupid or feel like people are judging them. But I also know this, that everybody forgets your failures once you succeed. Why do companies fail? Like, you may have heard the stats that 50% of companies won't make it to the first 5 years, or 80% will make it. I mean, it's literally, depending on the data and the statistics you look at, it's a little different. But the truth is, from my experience, is that 90% of companies won't even make it to, I think it's even less. It's like 3% will make it to 10-year mark, okay? But regardless of how many make it, I'm gonna share with you guys the number one reasons, the 5 that literally kill the business. And if you know these, you can avoid them, you're gonna be in a better spot. And I know if you're today in your business worrying about revenues and just feel like, you know what, you're not making the sales to be able to fund the growth of the business, or you're looking at your cash flow statement, are you? Because you should be. Ask your accountant for a cash flow statement. If you're asking for that and you're looking and you're doing negative operating cash flow every month, then you need to, fix that. Or maybe the people on your team are frustrating the crap out of you and you're just like, why can't you see my vision? It's probably because you didn't set one. But I digress. If those are frustrating parts of your business, all good things. I'm going to teach you why, the 5 reasons a company fails. And if you do this right, you're going to have staying power. I really believe that if you put the time and energy today, right, and there's this great quote that says something like, if you live a life that other people won't, then you'll be able to lead a life that other people can't. Meaning that you put the time and energy today so that in a few years, as your business grows, you'll be able to live a lifestyle that they could never dream of, and nor could you, right? If you think about it, like, it doesn't take a whole lot to build that cash flow, build that momentum, to build an asset that in 5 to 10 years you could sell and live off of the proceeds from that sale. I've been fortunate and blessed to have done that a couple times, and it sounds crazy. I remember the first time that somebody even introduced me to that concept, I was like, I can't even understand how you would go about building something that somebody would buy, right? And I remember the first time I did it, I was sitting on the end, it sounds kind of like douchey, but I was standing on the end of my boat. I was sitting there with my in-laws and my wife, and I got a call from my co-founder, Ethan, and he told me the paperwork's signed, everything's done. And it was a magical moment. It was one of those times and places I'll never forget where I was at, and the feelings that I had, and just how blessed and lucky I felt to, just live this kind of life where that's even a possibility. So I want to share with you guys the strategies to help you avoid this, because I was talking to my buddy Will not too long ago, and he actually made the argument. He wrote this great article on Forbes. You search Will Schroeder, Forbes, and it was something like $1 million. But his argument was, how much money do you really need? And he walks through the economics of, like, okay, you want a nice house, you want a nice car, you want all these things, you want to live a lifestyle, you want to eat out at restaurants. I mean, at the end of the day, from a cash flow per month, it's not a lot of money. Some people are like, I want to build a $100 million company. And you could and should. You should set your dreams and vision high. I love that. But when you look at, like, literally how much money it would take to live a lifestyle, not flying private, that one is a little bit of a bump in the cash flow, but just the other aspects of your life, it doesn't take a whole lot to get going. So it's really about staying power and growth, incremental growth. So just avoid the next 5 things that I share with you. This is when I've talked to entrepreneurs, and I've been fortunate enough to sit down and be able to review companies that have failed. I work in an industry, in the software tech industry, where a lot of my friends build companies and fail. So I see the aftermath, and I'm able to sit down and ask them the questions. And I go through it. And number one thing that kills a company is they can't pay the bills, which sounds so flippant. You're like, duh, Dan, they can't pay the bills. Literally, they run out of money. And the reason I share that with you, because most entrepreneurs aren't even paying attention. That's my challenge, is you need to build the metrics, the dashboard, the reporting to give you that number. Are you running out of money? Are you operating at a negative cash flow? And how much cash do you have in the bank to the point of how far can you project when you're gonna run out of money? Do you wait until the month where it's like, in 4 weeks I'm out of money? Or do you decide 6 months prior to that point, regardless if you raise money from investors or you're self-funding off of your own positive cash flow, do you wait to make different decisions? And that to me is the opportunity for you, is make sure that you measure the amount of money and kind of like the timeline and horizon that you have to continue building the business. So don't run out of money, because that is number one reason people close their businesses. They can't pay the bills. Number 2 is they offer a product that nobody wants. I mean, it's really that straightforward. They created a service or they're selling a product that nobody wants. And I know some of you guys, it's going to hurt your feelings because you're like, well, I love this thing I built, and why doesn't anybody want it? And I just need to change my market. I get this all the time. It's like, Dan, I got this product, and I can't figure out who my customer is. No, your problem is that you've built something that nobody wants. You think there's a market for the technology. You have a problem or solution in search of a problem. That's not the case. You have a solution that nobody wants. And the faster you can admit to that, and if you have the capital to keep trying another iteration, you'll be able to resolve that problem. So the second reason why companies fail is they offer something or build a product that nobody wants. The third, and this one is 95% of companies are guilty of this, is they fail to attract paying customer in a cost-effective way. Okay? Let me unpack that. They don't have a marketing program. They don't understand that if I invest $1, that it's going to generate $1.30 in the next 30 days. They don't know where to invest their time or energy to even get a new customer. A lot of service businesses they're dependent on the relationships. They don't have a structure, a process, a system to get new customers in a way that's inexpensive. You know, recently I was reading the Chapter 11 bankruptcy of a company called Nasty Gal, and when you look at the numbers of capital raise and that brand, they're a fashion brand, Nasty Gal, you can see where their revenues tanked in 2014. Prior to that, from 2009 to 2014, they were on this uptick. You know what changed there? My gut is that they stopped spending money on paid acquisition. They got addicted to spending money that wasn't profitable and returning a customer that stuck around that made them money. And as soon as the venture capital money dried out, boom, revenues tanked, like by 20 or 30% in a 12-month period. And that is your opportunity, is take the time to build a model, a marketing program that will attract a customer that's willing to pay, a paying customer for all you freemium folks out there, you crazy people, that allows you to do that in a cost-effective way. So that's 3. 4 for me is really to build a winning team. You know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you're selling, what you're offering, it comes down to people. Business is a people business. The language is financials, and business is a people. And if you don't build a winning team, if you don't put the time and the energy to recruit incredible people for your business, then you will struggle to grow because you're going to hit their Peter principle, their level of competency. Okay, this is a real thing on Wikipedia, the Peter principle. Essentially, the argument is people get promoted to their point of incompetency, and this is why you can make fun of governments and archaic businesses, but that's what's happening, and you're probably accountable for it too, because at the end of the day, you're responsible for the people you hire. You know, and you say, well, I don't have the money to hire great people. No, you're not creative enough. You're not resourceful enough. You didn't present them an opportunity that is exciting enough for those great people, because it's never about money. Money is the 4th item on the list of reasons and there's 5 that people are going to join your company. And I go over that in other videos. But to me, your opportunity is to create a winning team. If you don't, suffer the wrath. That is the 4th reason that businesses go out of business, because they don't have a winning team. And the 5th is they can't create systems. They don't know how to build a repeatable, scalable system for their business. They actually could have success. They could be doing something that's working and not take the time to actually say, okay, what's step 1, 2, and 3 for us to repeat this? You know, recently I was on a call with a client that I coached, and I was listening on their team meeting. At the end, I said, look, that person on your team that you have that's doing this function, is there a process for how they do that? Because I see that as a bottleneck, okay, as you scale the business. You want to triple the size of the business in the next 12 months? Awesome, I'm going to help you do that. But that role specifically, if you don't start extracting that from that person, right, they're skilled, they're talented, so that you can evaluate it, improve it, and then train 3 or 4 other people on it, that is going to be the reason you don't hit your goals this year. They don't create systems. That is the reason businesses fail. Now, I'm not saying day one. This is the other mistake. Day one, you sit down and you create this freaking Bible, because you don't know. Day one, you don't even probably have sales, or you have very little sales, or you don't even know what you're doing, if it's going to be the thing you're doing in the future. But usually around the $500,000 to $1 million mark, or year 2 to 3, you should start having 20% of your systems, your programs, documented, repeatable in a scalable fashion. That is your opportunity. It's the 5 reasons company fails. Number 1, they can't pay their bills. They don't have the money to actually pay the bills, pay the team, payroll. 2, they offer a product that nobody wants to buy. There's no customers. They think it's a marketing problem. It's a product problem. 3, they fail to attract paying customers in a profitable way, so they don't have a marketing system. Number 4 is they don't build a winning team. Number 5, I'm going to share with you the number 1. I'm going to give you a bonus one, but number 5 is they don't create system. Now, here's the deal. The number 1 reason, which is 6, but it's the number 1 overall, the reason that companies fail, okay? And I'm looking at you. If you're watching this video, you probably don't fit in this category, but for your friends, maybe they're watching, maybe you know somebody like this, is they're not willing to learn or they don't have the skill, right? If you don't have the skill, most entrepreneurs get into business they've never done before, or they have experience doing the work but not actually running the business, okay? If you don't have the skill or are willing to learn, then you're doomed to fail. You'll always tap out. You won't grow the business. And that, to me, is the overall arching high-level challenge, and the reason why, if you say, well, okay, these are all these 5 reasons companies fail, but the one that's even bigger than that is they weren't willing to learn. They weren't willing to watch this video, this YouTube video, and stay to the end to really get the nuggets, to say, okay, how do I learn more? How do I understand my industry better? Right? Where do I get that source of information? That is the number 1 opportunity for entrepreneurs, is to get that growth mind going on. So as per usual, I want to challenge you guys to live a bigger life and a bigger business, and I'll see you next Monday. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'd also encourage you to join my newsletter where I share invites to exclusive events and other free training programs. And if you're ready to get going and want more content, I've got 2 playlists queued up for you to keep on going. Have a great day.